Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. A bill in the Indiana State Senate is aiming to clarify who's responsible for assisting homeless people outside of high population areas. As George Hale reports, legislators hope to clarify when homeless people should be entitled to services if they can't prove residency.
As a township trustee in southern Indiana's Bartholomew County, Ben Jackson has a lot of responsibilities.
We have several functions. One is we're responsible for fire protection. Also, we're responsible for maintaining any abandoned cemeteries, in charge of eradicating 4 noxious weeds within the township. Another odd thing, township is called, we're the official township fence viewer.
One responsibility under Indiana law is administering township assistance. That could include helping people who are experiencing homelessness to still meet their basic needs.
I mean, you need food, water, you need shelter. And maybe clothing at certain times of the year in order to just survive. A lot of the trustees don't get involved with homelessness because within we're only charged with helping Columbus Township residents.
But the paradox is people suffering from homelessness don't have a permanent residence.
So it makes it a little amorphous as to who's supposed to help them, or who has the authority or who has the responsibility to assist them. I take a more general view of residency. We try to help every homeless person that comes in here. The ones that are just passing through the area.
The bill lawmakers are considering aims to clarify that township trustees should assist any homeless people in their jurisdiction, whether they can prove residency or not.
Senate Bill 67 is trying to solve an issue of homelessness and try to support those that are in need. And trustees are kind of at the ground roots of all of this, and they really know their constituents, know folks in the community, and kind of a last-ditch safeguard for folks.
Senator John Ford from Indianapolis is one of the bill's authors.
There's been some question about can they use their funds to help people that don't live in their district, and I think this bill is really trying to clarify that.
The language of the bill is vague on what kinds of assistance trustees should be required to provide. It lets local officials decide what they can afford to do. For example, some like Jackson in Columbus could decide to provide overnight shelter at their partner facility. For others, it could be as simple as posting a sign outside the trustee's office suggesting charities to consult.
Each township is unique and different, and so they can tailor it to what fits them the best.
The bill incorporates changes proposed by State Senator Dennis Cruz.
I would say most townships in Indiana have no homeless person, so I'm thinking this should not apply to small townships. So I got with the author and he agreed, and the committee agreed to have it be a population of 10,000 or more could do this homeless project.
Cruz also feared that any requirement placed on townships would encourage homeless to travel to areas with the most social services and drain the resources there.
It's a simple concept where when you're homeless, your home is where you stand.
Forrest Gilmore runs the Shalom Community Center in Bloomington, a community that, relatively speaking, has a lot of resources to offer.
Before, trustees had to definitively prove, even people who are homeless, that someone who was seeking their services has a residence in their township. And when you're homeless, you don't have a residence. So trying to prove something you don't have becomes impossible.
He says Cruz's prediction that people might migrate towards services is possible, but he also thinks that's a natural reaction to difficult circumstances. Shalom, like other agencies, is there to help and wants to assist people who need it.
It's possible that it could create some migration and some movement. But I think the biggest thing to remember is that when homeless people move, and they do, some of them, a small percentage, do move from community to community, although most are local. When that happens, they're fleeing something. They're not moving towards something, they're fleeing away from something. So if there's nothing for them where they are, if they don't have the basic necessities of life that they need, they're going to flee those to find a place that does.
The bill has been referred to the House Committee on Government and Regulatory Reform, and last week a state representative signed on as a co-sponsor. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm George Hale.